Hi, thanks for watching this video. Today I just wanted to share a quick look at my Harry Potter Lego collection. I've had some of these for quite a few years now and I just thought it's about time to gather it all up and think about building these before they bring out another new set. I tried to get as much of the Hogwarts castle as I could, but some of these sets here are buildings or scenes from the book or film. We'll have a quick look around first though. We've got the Harry Potter moment sets at the front here. Some are quite recent, like the Owlery down there. Got a couple of the gift or purchase sets, the Floo Network and the Grand Staircase. Some of the boxes actually look a bit tatty now, but they've been kicking about for a while. And I have actually built a couple of the new ones recently for videos. You can check them out. There's two Room of Requirement sets there. The little ones based on the Order of the Phoenix. The big one at the back there's based on the Deathly Hallows. There's the Burrow at the back there, the Collector's Edition. That's the first one I'm going to build straight away after this video. The Night Bus, that's my favourite version. We'll have a talk about that in a little while anyway. Now that set there, I think that's the Battle of Hogwarts. And behind that, Dumbledore's office, I think. What we got down there, I can't even remember what I put down there. We'll have a look at them all in a minute anyway. And that big one at the back there, that's the Astronomy Tower. I forgot how big some of these are. Put them away for a few years and just kind of forget what they actually look like. And there's a Ministry of Magic set at the back there. Almost didn't get that retired just before I was going to buy it, but luckily I got it for Christmas that year. That's the Whomping Willow set there, I can tell that from the bits of trees sticking up. There's the Hungarian Horntail. That's bigger than what I remembered as well. That massive Icon's Owl there, there's a lot of white pieces in that. There's Hagrid's Hut. Looking forward to building that one as well. Those two there, that's Fantastic Beasts and the Carriage and Festival set, they're quite interesting. And that one there is the latest potion class. I just built that one as well. And the train behind that, the Hogwarts Express, Diagon Alley, little Polyjuice potion mistake one there. There's a clock tower, I love that one. That's the Yule Ball set, the nice festive one. I know I skipped through that quite quickly and missed some out, but some of those little ones I've done a video on already if you want to check them out. But we're now about to have a look at these properly anyway. So down the front, we're going to start with these, the Harry Potter moment sets. These are only out for about a year in 2021. They're little fold-out dioramas. They fold back up into book, suit and store them, which is quite clever. They are all based on classic early scenes from the film. This one's Snape's potion class. And as we saw a minute ago, we got the Hogwarts Castle potion class now, which is this one here. And as you can see, it's based on the same thing, similar colours, and also the first years as well. Instead of folding up into books, these ones fold up and they can be slotted into the latest Hogwarts Castle sections. In both these sets, you got a Seamus minifigure. I think you're after having really. Keep getting his face blown up. I think that's a classic scene. Pansy Parkinson's a new one. She's one of Draco's followers. Anyway, Charms class next. We've got Harry, Cho Chang and Flitwick minifigures in this set. Another early one. This is Flitwick when he's got his big beard. Later on, they chose him to be the choir master, all dressed in black and black hair. I do like him like that. But also, this one has been remade recently. Another one. Basically, Flitwick looks the same in this as well. Same colours as well. But they've got the blackboard with his Wingardium Leviosa charm. Both these sets are all about that scene where Hermione gets the Wingardium Leviosa spell done correctly and get praised by Flitwick. And that starts that first little squabble for Ron and Hermione. Harry's a little bit older than this set. This is a Divinations class. There's Professor Trelawney, got Pravati Patel as well. These sets are brilliant for the minifigures, especially this one. This is the Herbology class. There is about to be a full build of the Herbology class, so these minifigures and accessories will come in handy there. Next one, we've got the Transfiguration class. This is that famous scene where Ron tries and turn his rat into a goblet, but that charm won't work because we later find out his rat is Peter Pettigrew. We've got Mad Eye set next, Defence Against the Dark Arts. You didn't see tons of his teachings in the films apart from that scene, what we all know where he tormented everyone, demonstrating curses and dancing bugs around in everyone's face, and tortures poor Neville. We actually find out that Mad Eye is actually Barty Crouch Jr. He uses Neville to teach Harry about the gillyweed plant, which helps him succeed in the Triwizard tournament. And that Mad Eye turned the Triwizard Cup into a portkey to get Harry to Voldemort at the end, and that is all in the Goblet of Fire. But next up, we've got a little gift with purchase set. You probably recognise this. That's a brilliant scene when you first notice this in the Burrow, the Weasley's clock. That's not a functional clock, that just spins round, but it's a nice little ornament. As you can see, that's exactly like it is on the film. And Molly Weasley can look at that and tell straight away where everyone is. That's not actually made of Lego, that is just a metal ornament, but I just thought I'd show you that one. That's just one of them limited edition gifts you get when you buy something when it first come out. And while we're here, we'll just have a look at this, the Hogsmeade Village visit. I always love the scenes of Hogsmeade in the film. That's always wintry and festive. This set actually comes with Golden Ron Weasley, one of the 9 gold minifigures. We've got some unusual minifigures, got Mr. and Mrs. Flume, they work in the Honeydukes, which is there. There's just mainly 2 buildings, Honeydukes and the 3 broomsticks, the pub. Let's just turn it over and we'll see what you get. So you can see basically we've got a cross-section of the 2 buildings, Honeydukes and the 3 broomsticks. This is desperate to be made, that's bursting at the seams. But anyway, we've got Honeydukes on the left and the 3 broomsticks on the right this time. Let's have a closer look. Dean and Ron having a beer, a butterbeer. There's McGonagall talking to Madame Rosmerta. That might be all related to that scene in Prisoner of Azkaban where they're talking about Sirius and Harry sneaking about in his invisibility cloak, and he didn't like what he hear. He get upset and then storm out. But there's a happy Harry and Dean. They just bought some acid pops. And again, we've got Madame Rosmerta and McGonagall sharing a drink again, a festive drink. Nice and cosy upstairs. Nice little bit of artwork on the wall there. Not sure what that is. Just have a closer look. It's right there. Probably a painting of the Hogwarts grounds. But that is basically the Hogsmeade Village visit. That's a nice little set. Like I say, I love the Hogsmeade scenes. I'd love to go there. Got a couple of similar ones next. This is Fantastic Beasts. These two are both Thestral drawn carriages. This one's Grimwald's Escape. I thought that might look good with this one. This is the carriage in Thestrals. This is all about that scene in Order of the Phoenix. Luna's sitting on the carriage waiting. Everyone come off the train and meet her. And no one can see the Thestrals apart from Luna. And when Harry turn up, he can see him as well. So you can see these Thestrals are basically the same. This one's got a little baby with it. Yeah, they get off the train and then go to the Thestrals to get taken to the castle. But Luna's sitting on the carriage on her own. She's reading a copy of the Quibbler. That's upside down if you've noticed. That's not because she's mad or nothing. That's just there's a riddle that needs to be solved and it has to be read upside down. Luna's dad writes for the Quibbler, and when they stick up for Harry, that's when Luna get abducted and put in the cellar at Malfoy Manor. And next up we've got the boathouse. This is quite an important little build. This is all about that arrival scene where the students see Hogwarts for the first time. I do love that bit. This is only about 30 quid here in the UK, and that's quite a good little set. You get 5 minifigures. You get a couple of little boats as well. Lamps are a bit strange on the front there, but anyway, this boathouse, you don't really see much of that in the film. I think the most you do see of this is where Voldemort attacks Snape. That's inside the boathouse. That's in the Deathly Hallows right at the end. And that's where you find out the best of Snape. Love that bit as well. Got a few of these little activity books. These are the sort of thing you find in supermarkets on the bookshelves and that. I do like finding stuff like this. That's nice when you get minifigures with them. A few little activities and bits and pieces to do. I kind of haven't done any, but I bought them mainly for the minifigures. This one's quite a nice one though. This is Cedric Diggory in his Quidditch uniform, black and yellow, Hufflepuff. You don't really hear much about the other students from Hufflepuff. That was mainly Cedric Diggory in the Goblet of Fire. It's kind of the main one. But this one's Sirius Black in his dirty old Prisoner of Azkaban gear. Like I say, I just stumbled upon these in supermarkets and bookshops. They're nice little surprises. But this one's Borgin and Burke's Floo Network. This was another one that was given away when you buy the Weasley's Burrow, the collector's edition. They've both got this fireplace, the Floo Network. I think that might be the hand there that Harry gets snagged up on when he come out the fireplace, because he ends up here in Nocturne Alley instead of Diagon Alley. But I do like the fact they've put Lucius Malfoy in this, as there's that scene where he comes in and trying to sell his dodgy stuff. But you should check out the deleted scenes of that. There's more to it. I love the atmosphere of this little set. This is Yowlery. This is all about that scene in the Goblet of Fire where Harry plucks up the courage to ask Cho to the Yule Ball, and then he kind of gets turned down. That is another set that's quite important to the Hogwarts grounds, in addition to the castle as well. You get Argus Filch as well. There's Harry there in a dirty old owlry, and I'm not quite sure if that's meant to be snow or Owlmess. I think a mixture of both. I do like that little feeding station area down there. That will rotate. Got a little baby owl as well. I like that on top of the box of Ilops owl feeders there. And that's quite a big set as well. It's over a foot tall when it's built. This is another gift with purchase. Another one that was given away free. That was quite a while ago now. It's the grand staircase. That little staircase actually moved, just like in the film, or described in the books as well. You get Hermione with this. Love all the paintings that you get with this. They're all stickers. That wasn't really designed to fit in the castle, but I'm pretty sure you can make it fit somewhere. That is a good one to have. Right, let's have a look at another old one. This is the first flying lesson. Obviously from the first film, first book. They're all first years there. You get a golden Quirrell with this one. Another place to get one of the 9 gold minifigures. This is quite an important scene to the whole lot, really, because this is where Harry gets discovered for being quite good on a broomstick and catching that Remembrall. If Draco wasn't such a git, then Harry might never have ever got on the Quidditch team. The whole story would be different. And apart from the gold Quirrell, you get 3 minifigures, Draco, Neville and Madam Hooch. He's down there. There's Neville with his Remembrall. The smoke glows red when you've forgotten something. Right, just like modulars, these come apart and you can build the Hogwarts castle how you want it. It's got a couple of fly and play features as well. It's quite nice. Another little one now. This is the Room of Requirement. It's all about that scene in the Order of the Phoenix. As you can see, they're a little bit older here. This room is a secret room. It's on the 7th floor of the castle. This room is also known as the Come and Go Room. In the books, Dobby tells Harry about the room, but in the film, Neville just stumbles upon it. And in here is where they practice all their spells and charms, and they start Dumbledore's army. And all of the portraits on the wall have been replaced by Umbridge's rules and regulations. They got a terrible end down. And luckily, they found a dummy Death Eater in there as well to practice on. New rules, they're not allowed to practice anything anymore, so that's all done in secret in here. And while we're on the Room of Requirement, this is the Deathly Hallows version, and this is the one where Gwill set the place alight. And we've got a Grey Lady minifigure as well. If you remember in the film, she didn't like being called the Grey Lady. That's Helena Ravenclaw. And she's actually the ghost of Rowena Ravenclaw's daughter as well. And this is all set around that scene where they're hunting for Horcruxes and they're so close to the end. Then they discover that the Ravenclaw lost diadem is one of the last Horcruxes. They've got to find it, destroy it. But that is in the Room of Requirement. And that's even got those little pixies in there as well. They're flying around everywhere, getting in the way. And Harry's battling through them on that pile of stuff, trying to find the diadem. And all of a sudden, you just see Draco and his crew appear and they try and take them by surprise. And then Goyle, wanting to show off a bit too much, go a bit too far with the fire and burn the Playstone. And that snake there, that's the Fiend Fire Curse that he cast and he just couldn't control. And one other thing that I actually did like in this film, as with Ron and Hermione. Hermione actually realised that Ron is actually quite intelligent and actually starts to like him. And the next one, this is part of the Triwizard Tournament. This is the Black Lake, where they have to rescue each other from underwater. And this is where Harry uses Neville's Gillyweed Charm. And that is Barty Crates Jr.'s trick to get Harry through to the end. There's 5 minifigures in this. And if you remember, there was 3 parts of the Triwizard Tournament. There was this bit, there was a Dragon Arena bit where they had to try and take the egg, and the maze bit where they battle through the maze to try and find the cup. That didn't get made into a Lego set either for some reason, but this one did, and that is quite a good one to be made. There they are, ready to jump in. In this event, Harry would have come last, but because he's using such a good charm, he had the opportunity to rescue 2 people, so he got points for outstanding moral fibre. But like I said, Barty Crates Jr.'s trick was to get Harry to the end so he could get taken to Voldemort. And this is the other Triwizard Tournament set, where they have to battle the dragons to take the egg. This is a Hungarian Horntail. And there's Harry in his protected uniform and the golden egg. In the book, that does go into a lot more detail about Harry's preparation for this, how nervous and anxious and scared he was before, and how he could hear everyone else, like Cedric Diggory going in, doing their bit, and all the dragons, all the noises. And then the massive relief after that was over and how good he felt. I'm actually really looking forward to building this one. That's quite a big set, actually. That's 48 centimetres. That's quite a big dragon. And I think I might actually try and put this on top of the castle, if that will fit, to make it look like this, the Triwizard Tournament's going ahead. They did actually cause a lot of damage to the castle, if you remember. And we got the Night Bus. There's a few versions of this available. This is the 2019 version. I think that's my favourite one, since this has one been made in 2025. And you got Stan, Ernie and Harry minifigures. Just look on the back, you can see this is the one where the side open up. I like that, so you can gain entrance to the whole bus really. But the later one's just more of a modular where it lift apart. But behind Ernie there's the bed, there's a shrunken head at the front, chandelier. The only odd thing about this set is the windows at the top. The back one's got kind of weird fitting glass and the front one's got kind of hinge windows, but that is good enough for the size. The modern one's just a bit more bigger and polished up. We've got a Hogwarts Castle courtyard bit next. This is Sirius' Rescue. And this is based on the 3rd book or 3rd film, The Prisoner of Azkaban, where Sirius breaks out of prison and then basically ends up back in prison in the castle. And then Ron, Harry and Hermione have to break him out using Buckbeak. Right, let's have a look at what we've got. And as you can see, we got Sirius getting away on Buckbeak there. This is definitely one of them films where you have to watch a few times. I've watched it loads of times. I love this one. And Hermione have to use her time turner to go back and save more than one innocent life. So Buckbeak gets saved, gets set free, Sirius gets set free, and Dumbledore gets to go back in time again and again to get cups of tea or large brandies at Hagrid's. So yeah, 3 people's lives are saved in this one. There's Harry there on his firebolt, new broomstick that Sirius sent him, the dingy old prison there. And there's Hermione having difficulty enticing Buckbeak away to be set free. And there's Sirius escaping on Buckbeak, and that's the end of the film, or the book. And next we've got the Hogwarts Hospital Wing. I love this building. I wish all hospitals were like this. Not that I like going to hospitals, I hate them, but this one just doesn't seem so clinical. And this one's also set on the Prisoner of Azkaban, so you can see Hermione's time turner. And this is when Ron's in hospital for bust leg, and Harry and Hermione are standing in front of him using a time turner, and you get a bit confused and don't know what's going on. And there's that clock we see spinning the boat when they go back in time. It's quite a nice little detailed clock, and looking forward to seeing what that does. It looks like that does a couple of things, but here's the scene. Ron in his bed, all broken. I know what that's like. And there they are, turning back time to save more than one innocent life. There you go. That is a nice little build, especially for a hospital. And a lot more nicer than some of the hospitals we're used to. The next one, we've got the chess set. This is from the 1st film where they stumble upon the wizard's chess. And there's a golden Snape, and there's Harry, Hermione and Ron, obviously. And this was another one I almost didn't get because that retired just after I received it. I ended up getting this from the LEGO website because I could never actually find it in any shops. And when I saw this and really kind of realised actually how big it is, you can probably see from those tiles, that is quite a big set. Let's just have a look on the back. You can see it properly. That is a playable chess set as well, if you like chess. I'm still learning. And I do like the fact they've used little minifigure parts in this. You get black and white plain minifigure bits. It'd be nice to see what spares are left over. You can see the size. That is almost a foot long, wide, or square rather. And obviously there's going to be a lot of black and white bits in there. It's going to be a little bit confusing. And we got Hagrid's Hut. This is the Buckbeak's rescue scene in Prisoner of Azkaban. And this is another one from that third book or film. And you can see the executioner looking all brutal, going down with the Minister of Magic to chop Buckbeak's head off. But Buckbeak get no such treatment. He gets saved because Hermione's got the time turner. You get some good minifigures, the executioner, Minister of Magic, Hagrid, and obviously Hermione, Ron and Harry, because they go back in time. And there they are trying to entice Buckbeak away. And also avoid being seen. And they're also watching themselves doing this from the future, from afar. So it's quite a confusing film to watch, but it's a good one. And there you go, there's the Minister of Magic, followed by the executioner. And there's Harry getting away on Buckbeak. Luckily, Hagrid taught Harry how to ride Buckbeak earlier in the film. And there they all are inside Hagrid's hut, trying to explain the situation and reassure Hagrid. And a nice little feature of this set, that come with a light brick for Hagrid's fire, to make it all nice and cosy. And the next one, we're going to have a look at 4 Privet Drive. This one came out back in 2020. And like the fact this one's got the car and the house, you can get the car separately. And also the car comes with the Whomping Willow as well. We'll have a look at them in a minute, compare them. It's got the Dursleys in this set, and little Dudley as well. Dobby and the floating cake. I think if I was Harry in the film, I think I'll just go back upstairs and leave Dobby to it. And wouldn't get caught, or at least lessen the chance of being accused. And of course in the film, Dobby smashed the cake on top of old Miss Mason's head, but in the book it's a little bit different. Dobby just pushed the cake off top of the fridge and it just smashed on the floor. Another bit in the book, Miss Mason doesn't like birds, she has a phobia, so when the owl come in delivering a letter, not like that, because that's from the first film. This is a mixture of 1 and 2, I think. But she didn't like birds and she fled because of that as well, but that could have all been explained away, but they just wanted to blame Harry, I think. And there is a 2025 version of this 4 Privet Drive, and that's about Marge's visit from the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban. Again, that is worth getting, because you could make a little row of these houses like it is in a little estate. And a big one next to this is the Astronomy Tower. This one is actually retired now, unfortunately, but knowing them, they'll probably make another version pretty soon. It's got a little herbology class bit, a little greenhouse on the side, that's quite good. Like I said, there is a new herbology class coming out, so you could use all these little bits and pieces to add on to that. But this is an important part of the castle, it's quite a distinctive one, that big slab front, you'd all recognise that. But let's have a look at the back. And my guess is this is about the Christmas party in Half-Blood Prince and Horace Slughorn down there. If you remember, he has his little secret clubs. He arranges these parties for his favourite students. And this is the one where he gives Harry some of that liquid luck. And there's Neville, Harry and Luna. They're all a little bit older here. You can see they're all dressed up for their Christmas party. There's Slughorn's office. And the Ravenclaw dormitory. That's Luna there reading the Daily Prophet. And up here we've got one of the famous scenes where Draco's sneaking about up the Astronomy Tower and Harry's spying on him. And this is a brilliant bit there with those two, Lavender Brown and Ron, where Ron accidentally gets that love potion and Lavender Brown just won't leave him alone. That's a brilliant bit. And Slughorn tries to remedy the potion and Ron gets poisoned by poisonous brandy. And there's Slughorn there actually. That's when he's trying to take some cuttings from the greenhouse secretly and get caught by Harry. There's some brilliant bits in that film. And this is that other set with the other flying car, the Whomping Willow. We'll try and compare them in a minute, see if there's any difference, but you can see this is obviously based on the Chamber of Secret, the second book or second film. And there's even a little secret passage in the bottom of the tree there. And we've got Filch and Snape and 4 of the students, so it's going to be some classic early scenes here. Let's just turn it over and have a look at what we've got. Yeah, we've got the Ford Anglia there. There's 4 rooms, or a couple of classes and a couple of rooms. There's Snape's office and the potions class there. That's the scene, obviously that's why Seamus has included the scene where his face blew up as usual. In that furthest room there, that's obviously Snape's office. And we've got Filch's evening stroll patrol area. There's the Gryffindor dormitory room there. And, well, there's the potions class. There's the Whomping Willow. It's got a few features where it's spinning around. You can see that secret passage there. There's the Gryffindor dorm room with Harry and Ron. Oh, there's that little secret entrance to the castle. You find out more about that in the third book actually. And that's the scene, the famous scene where the car hits the tree. But let's just compare those cars. This is the 4 Privet Drive version. This is the Whomping Willow version. And looking at them like this, I can't see much difference at all. I think they basically look identical. I'm trying to look at the front. That's usually where you'll see some differences. Can't see nothing really. Actually, I think there's a little tile missing from this one on the bonnet. Just turn it over to make sure. Yeah, there's no plate on the bonnet on this one. One of them little 1x2 or 1x4 tiles. I mean, just right in front of the window. Just there, but I think that's it. But there is just one way I find out that is building them. And you can actually buy this little car on its own now. The Flying Ford Anglia. That was out in 2024. But again, I think it's exactly the same as these. So you never know, they might actually be planning another Whomping Willow without the car. But anyway, this is the Ministry of Magic. This is another set I nearly didn't get because that retired just as I was about to buy it. And then luckily I got it for Christmas. But this is a brilliant set. There's loads of minifigures. You've got Umbridge, you have to have her. There's the Ministry workers that you see in the film. And then 3 in the middle. Runcorn, Hopkirk and Catmull, which Hermione, Ron and Harry turn into with a Polyjuice potion to get into the Ministry. And they've even put Mary in, Reggie's wife. You can reproduce that funny scene where Ron's caught kissing her when his Polyjuice wear off. I like the old British phone box house, the entrance to the Ministry. That's a good little build. There's all the little rooms you see in the film. There's loads of stacks of Daily Prophets everywhere, all corrupted. There's Umbridge's room there, all pink with all the cat plates on the wall. Creepy woman. And over here, that looked like Weasley's room. That's got a rubber duck. Obviously, Muggle items everywhere. I think that little bit there, I think that's all the prophecies. If you remember in the film, all them prophecies that are stacked up, they all get smashed or fall on the floor. And there's Umbridge's Patronus, the cat. Pius and Yaxley, and they're all taken over. And just look up the top here, this is kind of like a modular. You can reconfigure it to however you want, however you think that should be. And there's the 3 that Harry, Ron and Hermione turn into. They've even got a little courtroom as well. That's a brilliant set, that one. And let's have a look at this one, the Polyjuice Potion Mistake. This is from 2021. This is where you find the Golden Harry. And this set is all about the that little incident where Hermione gets turned into a cat by mistake. This is the second year one from the second book, Chamber of Secrets. These are retired now, but when they were about £17. You could get a couple of these and kind of transform because they do stack on top of each other and you can use them inside the castle. And another one from 2021, I think most of them were. This is the Fluffy Encounter. And this is where you find the Golden Hermione. You get a normal Hermione as well, and a Ron and a Harry. Obviously an early one from the Philosopher's Stone. Fluffy sleeps on the trapdoor, guarding the Philosopher's Stone, and that little magical harp keeps them asleep. And this is that scene, and also another scene where they're falling through the Devil's Snare, that bit down there in the bottom. What I find funny is Hagrid always go to the pub and come back with some sort of beast. Fluffy, he got off some Greek chap in the pub. And you also get that little dragon, that Norwegian Ridgeback from playing cards in the pub as well. But they ended up keeping Fluffy to guard the Philosopher's Stone in the castle. And that little turret room there, that's a magic practice room. That is a nice little set, that's the Fluffy Encounter. Next one, we've got the Hogwarts Express. And again, I think there's a few versions of this now, about 3. Even the collector's edition one, the massive one. But this is my favourite one, so it's got everything in it you need. This one relates to all the early films, first, second and third. The Azkaban one, there's a Dementor there. There's posters everywhere of Sirius. And as you can see, there's a Dementor. The Trolley Lady and Lupus, that all takes care of the third one. And over this side, we've got Harry and Ron. There's a Daily Prophet. There's the Sirius posters. Ron's got Scabbers, so that does more relate to the third book, Prisoner of Azkaban. There's a little train station, King's Cross, platform 9 and 10, and the middle. Little play feature where Ron go through the wall. And let's have a look at the train. There was another set out a couple of years after this, but that was more for the Hogsmeade theme. That was just slightly smaller than this one. But this one is actually dedicated to the early films, platform 9 and 3/4. There's Lupin there, sitting next to his briefcase that Hermione spots his name. He is asleep there. And there is the Dementor, waiting for his opportune moment to get in the train. And next up, we've got another festive one. This is all about that Yule Ball. This is the Hogwarts Clock Tower. And this scene is all set at the end of Goblet of Fire. Where's the Yule Ball? That's at the end of the Triwizard Tournament, where they bring all the nations together for one big party at the end. The Durmstrongs and the Beauxbatons, the Bulgarians and the French. There's some brilliant minifigures. There's the Madame Maxime. There's Crumb, Victor Crumb and Fleur Delacour. And that's a scene with Hermione and Crumb at the end. And there's Dumbledore and Madame Maxime. And over here we've got Harry and Ron sitting there all miserable, discussing their prom date. Let's have a look at the back, see everything going on. Down there, bottom left, it looked like Hermione's told Ron to go to bed. And no stained glass mermaid sticker down there, and that's where Cedric's telling Harry to open the egg in the prefect's bathroom. But that's got loads of busy scenes from the Goblet of Fire. And there's the Yule Ball dance at the end, everyone's spinning around. There's Crumb and Hermione. They all ended in tears for Hermione though. And another working clock tower feature. And just down here we've got Dumbledore's office. And over on the left hand side we've got the Defence Against the Dark Arts class, with Harry sitting there. And down on the ground floor everyone's dressed to impress for the Yule Ball, and that is the clock tower. And next one we've got Dumbledore's actual office. This is a more extended version, and these are all set around the early years as well. There's Dumbledore in his red outfit. Let's have a look at the minifigures. Madam Pince is there, she's the librarian. Snape, Harry and Hermione, so we know it's got to be some early scenes. There's Madam Pince there, probably moaning at Hermione. She was really protective about the library books. And there's a Harry with the invisibility cloak. Quite a nice little accessory for Harry, but he's trying to sneak into the library, I reckon. That's why Madam Pince is there. But let's have a look on the back. Right in the centre there, we've got Dumbledore's office. Library at the bottom. There's a Pensieve. And the Sword of Gryffindor at the top. And obviously, like the others being a modular set, you can change this about however you want it to be. I think this set is about everyone getting told off. Snape's there, he's always moody. Filch's there, making sure no kids are about after hours. And Madam Pince. And there's the early Dumbledore in his red gowns. A nice little Pensieve build there. And just in case you didn't know, the Pensieve is where they see thoughts and memories. And the Sword of Gryffindor right at the top there, waiting to present itself. There's Hermione in the library, snooping about. And there's Harry as well, and I reckon they're hunting through the restricted section. I think that's the scene where Fawkes regenerates and leaves the baby Fawkes. But that's Dumbledore's office. And what's this one back here? It's the Battle of Hogwarts set. I absolutely love this scene at the end of Deathly Hallows. And it's an absolutely brilliant ending to the series. Really sad, but really good at the same time. And one of the funny things I thought about this, everyone looked like they've aged about 40 years. And there's poor old Neville down there. He's like one of the unsung heroes of the film, of the book. And obviously with Seamus's help with the explosives, he blew up the bridge and basically stopped the Death Eaters from coming over the bridge. But he wipes out absolutely thousands of them, probably one of the biggest kill counts in any film ever. And obviously he destroys the last Horcrux as well. He slaps Voldemort's Snake Nagini with the Sword of Gryffindor. He saves Ron and Hermione at the same time there. But there they all are, having a big old battle. But it is basically 2 sets in one. You can choose to have the ruins. But I do really like the bridge because that is part of that castle scenery. But the ruins has got some nice features, that smashed up clock, and I do like that double pillared archway there. That is a nice bit of architecture. That is just such a good ending to all of the films. Everything just smashed up and everyone's just battling it out. But I do think that would have been absolutely brilliant if they put a really worn out Lucius Malfoy in this. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But I love it at the end where the Malfoys just turn around and they just, sod this, let's just go home. But after all that, we're going back now to the second film. This is the Chamber of Secrets set. And like most of them I've had, this is from 2021 as well. But you will find the Great Hall section in this, that bit in the middle. And there has been a new Great Hall since last year. But it's only just slightly bigger, so I won't bother buying that. But in the set, there's some brilliant minifigures. You get the Golden Voldemort if you're looking for the 9 gold minifigures. There's a nearly headless Nick. That's a glow-in-the-dark one. That's quite nice to see a Tom Riddle minifigure. There's Gilderoy Lockhart. He's brilliant. Early Dumbledore. He's got his red gown on. Justin Finch Fletchley, that's another interesting one. And if you remember in the film where Draco and Harry are doing their disarmament duel and that snake appeared and Harry was talking Parselmouth and Justin thinks the snake is going to attack him, so he gets a little bit angry at Harry afterwards. But there's a lot more to that scene in the book, so I recommend reading that if you haven't. Anyway, this is the back, this is what we've got, and the main part of this, the Great Hall. That's not a massive build for a Great Hall, but you can do what you want. You can expand on them lengthwise, so it doesn't really matter. There's a little Defence Against the Dark Arts class there, with Gilderoy Lockhart and his Cornish pixies. There's a little pink frog down there next to Luna. There's Aurora Sinistra. She teaches in the astronomy class, which I guess is that bit there, which is at the most top part of the castle, and there's a telescope. And like I said, there is a later Great Hall, which was introduced in 2024, but it hasn't got this chamber. And I think this is quite important. There's a basilisk, Ginny in the diary, all the important bits that are related to the Chamber of Secrets. The only thing is the 2024 Great Hall is slightly bigger. But like I said, you can make this bigger, so I'm not sure if I will buy it. I just don't know yet. I don't want to have to not use this, because this is a really good set. But that does come apart. All these things come apart, and you could probably combine them all. But I might just make this one bigger. I do like making little modifications, making things just how I think they should be. But what this set does need is to sit next to a big old tower, which has only just been released. But anyway, moving on, we're getting close to the end. This is the Burrow, the Collector's Edition. And this is where you got the Borgin and Burke's Floo Network set with, because these sets are all about that little scene. Inside there is the same fireplace as the Borgin and Burke's one. It's got the same function. There's a pig pen as well. What I like about this is based on the book and the film. There's Bill and Charlie there. Charlie you don't see at all in the film. You just hear about him because he worked in Romania with the dragons, but he's more mentioned in the book, so that's best to read the book if you want to know more about him, or get the audiobook, that's good as well. But anyway, they've made their interpretations here of each room, and I love how clunky and wonky everything is. They've made that kind of the charm of the place. There's the bed just kind of on the side. And there's Ron's room. I do like how they got that kind of cosy look. They got all their fan posters and stuff. Everything that just makes it like a home. But this Burrow is all about that. It's all about that family atmosphere, that coziness. And like all the collector sets, you get a little bit of kind of background film knowledge. And that's one of the main features there. The Weasley's kitchen, their family table. And there it is, the fireplace, the Floo Network, which links to the one in Borgin and Burke's, which is where Harry goes by accident when he says diagonally instead of diagonally. And you can see they have tried to make it like an old Tudor building, but I think in the film it's got more of a rough kind of herringbone lime-washed mortar brickwork. But the inside is brilliant. They got that atmosphere. There's the bathroom. There's clunky stuff in there as well. There's a rubber duck that Arthur Weasley go on about. He wonders what the function of a rubber duck is in the film, but it's not in the book, that bit. All these little additions in the film, they do bring a bit of life to it and make them a bit more human. But there's the size of it. That is quite big, 46 centimetres high, and there's Percy's bedroom at the top, so that is right. And the main bedroom there, and that's obviously Arthur's little telephone box souvenir, like the one outside the Ministry of Magic. Fred and George's room there, with all the little tricks and gadgets for Weasley's Wheezers. And then back down to the kitchen. I am building this as soon as this video is done, so that will be the first one after this, so keep an eye out for that. And for me, this Hogwarts Icon Collector's Edition, this is quite a daunting build. I can only imagine all those white pieces inside there, but that does look like such a good model. Probably a life-size owl. We will see this done eventually. I've just got to get through some of the others first, but this is another big set, so I've got to put it somewhere where it's done. I'd hate to break this up once you spent all the time and effort building something like this. But that does look really good. All the potions, books, and the wand, the glasses as well. And I'm wondering if we can try them on. Felix Felicis Luck Potion. Another really big book on the bottom there. Some Gryffindor bits and pieces. And even a chocolate frog. There's everything here that's iconic in the films. So I guess that's why that's the Hogwarts Icons Collector's Edition. There's the potions. I am looking forward to seeing them. I do love little potion bottles. Like vintage labels and anything old-fashioned like that. This is a really, really heavy set. I'll just turn this round. And also what you might not be aware of, this is where you find the last 3 golden minifigures. McGonagall, Dumbledore and Hagrid. You can get the stand to display them on. I actually like the look of that little black box that the potions are in. That does look really nice. And the snitch there, nearly forgot to say about that one. That's iconic. But yeah, there's the back of the owl. That does look like a real owl. Actually, now I'm saying this, I am actually looking forward to building it. Let's see the size. That's huge. 50 centimetres wide. And nearly that again in height. That is quite a piece. And there's a copy of the letter that Harry gets. That hasn't got anyone's name on, so you can write your own on that. And that's made of 3 sections of Lego tile plates. And there it is, the whole lot. That is one heavy box. That's even split and open, but even bigger and heavier. Diagon Alley. It's like the ultimate Harry Potter Lego set. And that is still available just about. That keep having threats of retirement, but that is still hanging in there. But I don't know for how much longer. I think 2025 might just be its final year. And here you get most of the main buildings that you see in Diagon Alley. There is a quite an impressive range of minifigures at the bottom there. Let's have a look. We've got Hagrid, obviously Fred and George, Molly, Ginny and Ron, Hermione and Harry, obviously. They've all got their first year uniforms, but it does probably stretch a Chamber of Secrets, the second book. There's Draco and Lucius, Gilderoy Lockhart, Ollivander, Florian, and the Daily Prophet photographer, all the people you'd kind of expect to see. In the last couple of years, we have seen the smaller scale Diagon Alley shops, but this is the bigger scale, but there's no reason why you can't get the small ones and kind of modify them to fit in with this. There is definitely some good opportunities to make this bigger if you want to, though. But I do think this could have done with an Ilops Owl shop where Harry bought Hedwig or Madame Malcolm's robes. But let's just have a look at the top of the box, see the scale. It's quite big, but you don't have to have it like this. You can probably get some base plates and make an old cobble street and make them face each other like a proper Diagon Alley. I can just about turn this round. It's one heavy box. You wouldn't normally see these in the high street. You might see it at Legoland or something, but I had to order this from Lego website, so that's probably best to get it from there. You didn't have to worry about dragging it home. Let's look at our shop lineup. We've got Ollivanders, Scribulus, Quality Quidditch Supplies. We've got the Daily Prophet. They have been quite generous with the size of some of these shops, you can see. They've made it so there's enough room to be quite authentic inside. I just thought with some of these shops they should have accessorised the fronts a bit more, make them look like there's a lot more going on. But the ice cream parlour, that's a nice little hangout place though, next to Flourish and Blots. There's Gilderoy Lockhart outside there, waiting to do his book signings. And between Flourish and Blots and Weasley's Wheezers, there's a little bit of Nocturne Alley there, which is quite authentic to the film. But this building, Weasley's Wheezers, does seem like the main build. They've put more attention to detail in this one. As you can see, they've made it really vibrant and colourful like it is in the film. A couple of flights of stairs as well. And there's Hagrid down there, hanging around Nocturne Alley. And I bet he's looking for some flesh-eating slug repellent, apparently. But anyway, back to the shop. I think you can see that they tried to fit so much in this from the film. Little products and little jokes and tricks, potions, and there's Fred and George as well. But that is a nice build. One thing, there is a lot of stickers in this set. I've already seen there's a couple of sheets of stickers, so you got to be prepared to do that. Nice little bit of the ice cream parlour there. And you can see upstairs, little relaxing area, little armchair and table. And upstairs in Flourish and Blots, Lucius and Draco. That is definitely that scene from Chamber of Secrets. You know that one. And the Quality Quidditch Supplies. This is where you buy your brooms. This is a really nice little shop. I'm wondering if that's the Nimbus 2000. That is a really, really clever design. Love that building. And there's Ollivander and Scribulus. Ollivander's up there on his ladder. Let's see if we can zoom into Scribulus. Hermione's in there, buying the ink and quills. That's where you buy all your stationery. I do love how they're giving a kind of casual look to some of these shops upstairs. An old worn-out chair. And there's Ollivander up there in his dusty old one shop. But that is Diagon Alley and all the separate shops. You can probably rearrange that however you want, or add, modify, even add a bit of Nocturne Alley, make use of that Borgin and Burke's Flu network. I've got to put all these away now. for the time being anyway. And that is my collection of Harry Potter Lego sets so far. And I'm about to build the Weasley's Burrow Collector's Edition. So look out for that very soon. And there is a few others up there already. So please take a look at those. But thank you very much for staying with me all this time. I hope you like it. I hope you found some things interesting. And please do subscribe because it helps me out a lot. And also you'll be notified when I upload some of these builds in the near future. But until then, thanks again. And I'll see you next time.